There's been plenty happening, has there?
There's been plenty happening, yes. We'll dive right into it.
Talk about Prague.
Let's talk about Prague. Yeah, it was interesting. It was really good. It was a good trip. It was a really good trip. So, yeah. Let's do a proper presentation, Mark.
Yes, let's do.
Hey, and welcome to Southern Summers and Northern Winters. My name is Anders, and on the other side of the world is Mark. How are you doing, Mark?
I am very good. It's a Friday evening here, about 6:30 p.m. So I've got the weekend off, so it's all the good.
Have you opened a beer yet?
I've actually got a wild turkey honey bourbon on ice. So
nice. Yeah, well,
yes.
I'm looking forward to my first beer this afternoon sometime. Yeah, for the weekend. Yeah, it's been this week. You know, I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. Yesterday I went to the doctor's, the eye doctor, and I am actually now scheduled for an OP for cataracts.
Okay.
Yeah. I've only got 60% of my visibility on the left eye. So the doctor said, we could do with an OP now.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh well.
So that's where
what we need is what we need when we get older, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not really bothered by it, but it's just sometimes when the towards the evening, late afternoon, evening, and at night when the light is a little dimmed, that's really when I'm struggling and I can't read anything. It's just.
Yeah. No, I hear.
Yeah. So.
Like I said, I reckon I've said this to you before. I reckon once you start wearing glasses, your eyesight gets worse. I reckon.
It's like a muscle.
Gets worse.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I struggle to read anything small at all anymore. But yet, when I went to the doctor, I could still read small stuff. But I was just having a little bit of trouble with it now. Unless I've got glasses on, I can't read friggin' anything that's small. So
exactly.
Like, standing like this, going, what does that say?
It's just crazy. That's how they make money.
Well, that's how they all make money, isn't it?
This sector, yes. So anyways, we went to Prague and came back a week ago now today late at night. And we went with Flixbus. So the bus ride was really surprising, and not surprising because I didn't have any expectations, but it was just really relaxed, and it wasn't. I had kind of a feeling that it would be like overcrowded because it's or fully booked because it's really affordable, but it wasn't. Which surprised me. Yeah, it surprised me that the probably just about half full on both tours back and forth. So it was a pleasant. You could sort of, to begin with, like when you're on an airplane, you sort of sit on the seats that you are assigned. But then, as you can see, people are not. There are nobody on the other seats. Then you just sort of spread out.
Spread out.
So that's what we did, and
Where does the Flixbus leave from in Munich? From Central train station?
It's near the Central train station, but it's they have built a separate bus station near the train station. It was all really organized and easy, and I was really pleasantly surprised about how it was organized and how smoothly it ran. So shout out to Flixbus for this, because that was really, I've heard stories, but from my personal experience now, I can only
It
say,
was fine.
it was fine, absolutely fine. The only thing, I mean, the seats are not. After a couple of hours, you sort of you want to stretch your legs and walk
Yeah.
around, and that's not easy on a bus. So
No, not
on
at
an
all.
airplane or train, you can just sort of just walk to
Yeah.
the cafeteria or whatever. But that's not possible on a bus. So that's the only thing. And they did make a break, 5 minute break. But still, it's
Just one?
not
Only one
just
break between.
only one break after a couple of hours, sort of halfway
Yeah.
through. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
Speaking of Flixbus, I actually have seen they've launched in Australia in the last 2 weeks. They're which they've not been in Australia. So they've got only Melbourne to Sydney route at the moment, and they've got promotional starting fares at $10 from Melbourne to Sydney.
yeah.
But whether you'd want to sit on the bus for 13 hours, though, I'm not quite sure. But
They'll
but
probably
still,
do a couple of breaks,
yeah,
but
you'd think
still,
so.
yeah. But still, I mean, come on. Airfare has gotten so ridiculously expensive,
Yeah,
if they had, I guess it's the same thing in Australia, but the network of train tracks
yeah,
in Europe has not been properly maintained
and
for decades. And
yeah,
if the governments and if all countries had properly invested in this, we would have
yeah,
had like a proper, well functioning network of trains running all over Europe.
for sure.
As that is not the case, then the
No.
buses are now the
Governments don't want to spend money until it's absolutely necessary, do they?
it's
Like
so
they wait
ridiculous.
till you
Yeah,
get to the tipping point, and then they go, oh, "Okay,
yeah,
now
yeah.
maybe we'll put some money in now because we really have to, and there's no way around it, is there?" So
It's the same thing here in Germany. This is a huge political thing because they are now, actually, as you say, they are forced into investing, and it goes for because now for goods transportation, cargo. It it has to be transported. The capacity on trains are not high enough. So
yeah,
now all the highways are fully loaded with trucks, huge mega
yeah,
trucks, and it's just not sustainable in the long run. So that now they're heavily investing in expanding the track network and everything. But it's like probably 30 years too late.
yeah, and that's what happens, isn't it? Like they leave it, like I said, right to the very last moment. Like I wouldn't even know what the interstate rail service is even like in Australia because I've never travelled interstate. Actually, I think train travel is a little bit moot in Australia. There's no fast train lines, obviously. There's nothing direct. They're all via regional towns. There's no expresses. I know you can go Melbourne to Sydney, and I know you can go to Adelaide and things like that in Perth, but them ones are all specialty trains where they they name them like the Garn or the Overlander or something like that, and then they take that opportunity to charge you through the roof because it's
Exactly.
a special service or some crap like that. But I know you can go Melbourne to Sydney. I think it's an overnight service that runs every second day each way. So I think one night, I don't know if it runs every night. I think it might run one night from Sydney, then next night Melbourne it goes back, then Sydney it goes back, then Melbourne it goes back.
So it's sort of
back and
just
forth.
like one set of wagons. Just
Yeah, I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, like I've watched a few videos on it. I think there is and there's only like one maybe sleeping carriage or two. Most people just sit in a seat, like
Oh yeah.
like all night,
Yeah.
overnight, I guess. But
But what
that's not my thing. So I don't know. We've got no fast train. We've been, they've been talking about a fast train service in Australia since I was in grade 2. So that would have been in about 1977. They first started talking about building a fast train service between Melbourne and Sydney. And I only know this because they were going to build the line near our town at that stage, and there was going to be a stop outside of our town, and it was going to go up the east coast. But then they ran into all sorts of problems with the environmentalists, and because there's a lot of forests up this way, and they didn't want them to cut a swathe through it for a track. But in the end, I think it really comes down to a lot of things in Australia. There's not enough people to justify the infrastructure costs at like 30 million people. They probably and if you're only going to go Melbourne, Sydney, well, then you're probably only looking at, let's say 15 million people. Yeah. So it's not really a lot of people to pay for that infrastructure. They'd have to get like some private company probably to a consortium of private companies to go and build it. Like the government actually have a fast train office that they've opened in the last 5 years to investigate it further, but it just keeps getting investigated and gets no further at this stage. But in saying that, there is a plan for it. So I shouldn't say there's none, but there is a plan for it, and apparently they're going to build a first leg from Sydney to Newcastle, and then if that goes well, then they're going to build downwards from Sydney down towards Melbourne, but with no set time frame. So this could happen, 20, 30 years before they, before they finish it, or anything like that. So
sometime within the next 100 years, it'll be finished.
That's not set in stone. But getting back off that, let's get back on to Prague. What else? What else did you do in Prague?
So we arrived. The thing I noticed most was because the last time I was there, it was on business, and the one time before that I was there, that was just shortly, like a couple of weeks before the Berlin Wall fell. So my experience really with Prague was from the original East Bloc days. So that was interesting, and a lot of the atmosphere is the same. However, it has become a very touristy city, like any other European city. You got all the major retail chains, and so. Just quickly, was there lots of marijuana shops around still? You could,
they were everywhere.
Yeah, you can smell marijuana everywhere, literally everywhere. So that's very relaxed, the policy there. And obviously a lot of young tourists, they were in Wonderland, with that, in that regard.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I remember that when we were there in 2023, and like I'd been there about 5 years prior to that in about 2018 or something, and there was no sign of it then. But in 2023, nearly every second shop had like a a marijuana sign in the window and this and that.
That's true.
It was.
Yeah. So we obviously we went to see. We're very much into churches when we visit, so we go to the churches, and not because we're religious, but because we want to see the architecture and the buildings.
Yeah, definitely.
And we went to the big castle uphill, which you can actually buy a ticket, and then you have 2 days because it's too much for one day.
Too much for one day.
Yeah, so it's about 20, 25 euros per person.
Yep.
It's definitely worth it. Enjoy the views from the towers up there. It's so what I like the most is actually the other side of there's the main city center, and then you go over the Karls Bridge, and then there's another part of the city center, but it's more like the old part of the city center, and that's really where I find is the most charming place in Prague. And Prague is not really that big. You think of Prague as being a huge metropolitan area, which it sort of is, but it's not that big.
A few blocks on each side of the river where everything is. Yeah.
So once we then the first day and a half, maybe we sort of figured out where our accommodation was, compared to any other major landmark in the city, and then we just walked around really. So about after a couple of days, we started using the public transportation as well, because we went to the historic. We took the historic tram.
Yep.
which is also a thing that I can recommend. It runs through the city just on the normal network, well, then you can just hop on and just sit there and just enjoy, the architecture and the sights. It
Most
goes over
definitely.
several of the bridges, and I think it's I can't remember the price, 8-9 euros or so, and it's just really nice, really nice. So we did that, and that's also like 24-hour ticket, and so you can really spend a couple of days doing that. Yeah, and then did you know that the largest stadium ever built is also in Prague?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it still there?
It's still there. It's not in use because it's crumbling. It was built 100 years ago, and it was officially opened in 1926 or 7. And then it was remodeled and restructured over several, periods.
Yep.
And in 1994, it was taken out of daily use. Now there's like an outer perimeter which is still there. It's in concrete, and it become a historic landmark, so they cannot tear it down. And it's owned by the city of Prague, but they don't really know what to do with it. Because it's just too costly to properly renovate. So what they've done is that within on the former grass, which is huge, that field, they've actually let the local football team, Sparta Prague. They have built a clubhouse, and then they have 9 training fields within what was usually one big field. So it's really huge. In the heydays, it could host 250,000 people.
Wow, that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still to this day the biggest stadium ever built.
It's crazy.
So it was
why they would build a stadium that big, like in. I don't know.
Yeah, but back then they did all kinds of crazy stuff to impress.
That's it. That is dead right. Because I don't even know what's the population of Prague. Like, is there even 1 million people in Prague?
Yeah, it's around that. Yeah, around 1 million, a little over 1 million, I guess. And it's just in the metropolitan area of Prague, within the city center. Actually, I read somewhere there's only about 50,000 residents, so they live in the outer perimeters of Prague. But that stadium, that was sort of spur of the minute decision. Because Alex said to me, you could. She had sort of arranged what we were going to see through the week, and then the last day, she said, why don't you arrange something? She was testing me, and I said, why don't we go and see Brutalism? Proper East European ugly architecture. and that's when this stadium came as one of the first suggestions, and it was really a really interesting day. Actually, we saw a couple of the other landmarks of Brutalism, but that stadium I can really recommend it. It was like you could walk around for a couple of hours, and you can even get into the stadium and sit on the in some of the seats and stuff. So and it doesn't cost anything. You just go there with public transportation and just enjoy the views. It's on a hill, so you have views over Prague as well. So and some of the biggest concerts, in its heydays were held there, like U2, Rolling Stones, and Pink Floyd and whatnot. They all played there. So
a lot of people love going to visit sports stadiums. There's a whole sort of tourist industry built around. I know in Melbourne. Obviously Melbourne's got tons of stadiums. And I know, there's
you got one of the
do tours.
You got one of the biggest stadiums in the Southern Hemisphere, right?
Got one in the top 10 in the world. So So that's the MCG. So there's tours
Yeah.
every day. Then there's another one called, I don't know what it's called at the moment. It's called Marvel Stadium. So it's sponsored by Disney at the moment, and
Oh,
it
wow.
holds 60,000. And it holds 60,000. I know they do tours every day as well.
Yeah.
It's quite popular. I know many people. I've actually been and done the MCG tour, but the MCG tour you get to, you get to go out on the ground and have a look at the change rooms, because both AFL football and international cricket's played there, and music concerts. Actually, AC/DC played there on Wednesday night to 85,000 people.
Wow.
So it's a massive, big multi-purpose stadium. And the other one, Metallica played there last week. And that holds 60,000. And they play football, mainly football at that one, not cricket. But you can do tours through all these stadiums in Melbourne. So there's quite a lot of stuff. I think, and then there's the National Tennis Centre. You can go do a tour through there where they play the Australian Open, which is also in Melbourne as well. So there's a big tourism industry in Melbourne built around actually
Stadiums.
Stadium.
Yeah, they do. I mean, because of the teams, football teams, Camp Nou in Spain.
Definitely.
And obviously Allianz Arena here in Munich.
Yep. Munich,
you can go there. There's the fan shops, and
for sure.
But they have many daily tours in multiple languages and everything. So it's
for the fanatics.
Yeah, but also it is fascinating. It's fascinating architecture, really. That you can think this big. It's and also when you go and study this in a little more detail, what they do in order to what I call crowd control, how they can feed in crowds in and out of the stadium fairly fast and get them to the public transportations. It's all fascinating, really.
You've got to take all that into consideration these days, don't you?
Absolutely.
And I guess even maybe more so in Europe, how you keep your crowd separated.
That's ridiculous. That's one of the things that I always kind of get upset about, because of the fanatic teams, the fanatic supporters. They cannot stand one another. So when two competing teams are playing, you have to keep them very and there's really, I mean, the amount of police that you see. And I always say to my wife, I said, who's paying for this? We are.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's right.
Taxpayers.
We're paying for it all. Plenty of game. I often, this might sound wrong, but I often think, I wonder what's lacking in people's lives that they take it so seriously. That it becomes, that important to you that you feel the need to, fight with someone or do something stupid like that because your team lost. I mean, we all get disappointed when our team loses, but it's just a game in reality. It's not changing your everyday 9 to 5, existence, really, is it?
Really not.
So you need to put it into perspective sometimes. I think, I don't know, maybe that's just my view, because we don't have that trouble in Australia. Australian stadiums, fans sit wherever they like next to rival fans. There's no real, segregation. You just roll up and sit where you like.
No, I can sort of understand how you can support a team. I don't know I think I've mentioned this before. There's a series on Disney called Welcome to Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds. He bought a team in Wales, and what this team means to the entire community, the whole
community.
That is fascinating, and I can really understand that. But become from there to get violent.
Is a stretch, isn't it?
That's just that's ridiculous. But there is unfortunately a history of hooliganism in Europe, and that's just sad. That's just and meaningless, absolutely meaningless.
It is.
But Prague was, and the we had a flat near the.
What was your Airbnb like?
Yeah, it was really good. It was a hotel. apartment. Hotel apartments, sort of a huge building of newly renovated apartments, and it was so stylishly done, really with finesse, and really with it was really pleasing from an aesthetically point of view. It was very modern and tastefully decorated.
Tastefully done.
So yeah, tastefully done, and so that I can really recommend that. That was really nice, and it was one of those, because originally we had booked another place, and that was I think we mentioned it was cancelled. Yeah, and then this was the second choice, and it was obviously the best choice. I mean, we were literally a few hundred meters away from the central square, where and the main pedestrian street. So that was nice.
In the old town square. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And should we go to Prague again? What?
Didn't run into any scams in Prague, did we?
No, because we were warned both by you, Mark. Thank you very much, and also from various guidebooks and stuff. You do not ever want to use exchange services that people you meet in the street for that. No. Because you will get scammed. For Europeans, we just go to the nearest cash point and just with ATM and just withdraw local currency. I was a bit surprised that they haven't changed to euros. They're still on the Corona. But yeah, well, whatever.
It is what it is, isn't it? So was the Airbnb dear, like in Prague?
It was about €100 per night.
Yeah, okay, that's reasonable.
A little over €100, probably €110 per night.
So it was like two bedrooms, because obviously there was.
It was 2 bedrooms and a bed in the main living room as well, but that we didn't use. A huge kitchen area, a couch area with and 2 toilets, a huge bathroom and a toilet. So that with a teenage kid, that's sort of nice, right? So there was a huge flat screen TV, very modern, Bluetooth speakers, game consoles, an Xbox, which we didn't use, but because we're not big on gaming, but had we been, it was sort of, they were sort of catering to a younger audience, I guess, but. Really nice, really, really nice, and just fully equipped with whatever kitchen utensils.
Sounds fantastic.
Plates, everything for 8 persons. So really nice.
Did you cook at home? Did you cook at home much?
We only made breakfast at home. And that's the reason why we usually have a flat. An apartment, because going to a proper normal traditional hotel, you don't have breakfast in the room then, and then you go down to a restaurant or you go to a cafe near, and it's just we kind of like to have time to ourselves in the morning, so going to a hotel restaurant before a certain time, before 9:30 or 10. We probably could most days. We probably could do that, without getting stressed. But it's just nice to have, be able to do stuff on our own, in the mornings.
Yeah, for sure.
Boil a couple of eggs and just, so and the next thing is we like to go to the local supermarkets to see what they have. That's kind of our way of exploring.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I love going to supermarkets overseas. Yeah. That's one of the best. That's one of the funnest things you do.
Absolutely, see what they have. What are the locals eating, and so we do that, and so we buy our stuff for the breakfast. Buy bread, butter, cheese, cold cuts and whatever, and it's to see what they have. So we did that and really enjoyed the quiet mornings and just so whenever we were ready, we would just go out in the city. So yeah, that's what we did. So I can as a family, if you're more than two persons, I sort of recommend using booking flats, apartments. That's sort of because more than two persons, then you would probably need two hotel rooms, and that's kind of when it gets expensive, right?
Me and my wife, we love going to supermarkets overseas because Australia's a condensed market, and we basically have Coles, Woolies, and Aldi, and that's it. So and they all sell the same. So when we're overseas, and there's Lidl and Carrefour and places like this that you can go to, and Lottie, and if you're in Asia and all these different type of places, I love it. So I got packet mixer. I got packet mixers and stuff like that inside that I bought about 6 years ago, sitting in the cupboard that I say one day I'm going to use. I'm not throwing that out. One day I'll make that.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I mean, it is a good way to get to know the locals. This the local folklore and culture and what
Yep.
We can spend hours just studying whatever they have on the shelves in the supermarket. That's really interesting.
It's great. I really
Central
enjoy
Europe.
spending.
Central Europe has sort of the same culture in many ways. I mean, I guess the Czechs are a little more into the meat. I mean, they eat a lot of sausages and meat, and I got my fair share of goulash. I can tell you.
While you were there,
and it was good. It was really good. They can make a proper goulash in Prague.
Hey, does Munich have the blue Aldi or the yellow Aldi?
We have the yellow Aldi. We have the blue and yellow. We have Aldi South. The story of Aldi?
In Australia, it's all yellow, but I never knew that this blue and yellow business existed until I went to Poland one trip, and I was like, there's a blue Aldi. Like, what is going on here? And someone explained obviously that it was two brothers, and one had the north and one had the south. So one's blue and one's yellow, and but in Australia they're all the yellow one. So similar to Munich. So I found this fascinating. Like when I seen this, I was like, wow, like there's a blue Aldi.
That's sort of that's a good story because they the two brothers, they were fighting and they split up Germany originally, North Germany and South. So it's sort of around Fulda in the middle of Germany. They sort of split the country, and then one brother took the north and the other brother took the south. What they do nowadays, obviously, there are slight differences, but more or less they buy,
use the same supply chain and everything. So similar to Adidas and Puma. Exactly. The same sort of thing, I think, wasn't it? They were both brothers, weren't they? And,
they were brothers. Yeah. The Dassler brothers, and they that's. But I think Adidas has sort of gotten the most.
I would say Adidas is the bigger brand.
Yeah.
Than Puma.
Puma is also it's kind of getting back into style. Actually,
it's a very popular brand in its own right, isn't it?
It is.
Puma. In Australia, it is anyway. There's a lot of Puma.
Yeah, I recently
in Australia, but
I recently got a new pair of Puma shoes. They're called Speed Cat, and they were popular for like 25 years ago. They were very popular, and then sort of not so popular. And now they're popular again. The Speed Cats, and
the Speed Cat.
Yeah. So this is very sleek shoe.
Funny how brands come and go. It's a bit like Reebok. When I was a kid, Reebok was everywhere, and then Reebok disappeared for a long time, and now in Australia, I see Reebok sort of everywhere again. But for a long time, it sort of you never seen Reebok. It sort of disappeared. Like it was obviously popular from basketball back in the days in America when it first.
Is Reebok? Popped up. It's American, right? The brand.
Yeah.
Do you have any Australian brands, sport brands that?
Nah, I wouldn't think so. Nah, I don't think
Because
so.
here
Not that I
in
know
Europe,
of.
it seems like we each country here in Europe sort of have their
Hang
own
on, I'll Google that. I could be wrong. Australian
sport.
sports brand, maybe shoes. That's sort of if they've got a brand, they'll have shoes, won't they? I'm not really seeing anything.
Okay,
Nope.
well,
Maybe Safita. You ever heard of them?
no,
No,
no.
nah. So maybe no. So I would say not really. Like if you go to a mall, you see Adidas, Nike,
Yeah, yeah,
Puma,
yeah,
Hooker or Hoka or whatever it's called these
yeah, yeah,
days.
yeah,
Yeah, just the Converse. Just the main
yeah,
ones, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's about it.
No, so and eating wise, if you go to Prague, as I said, very heavy on the meat,
Yep.
but apart from that, eating is good and it's
Yeah.
fairly affordable. I would say
Yep.
the prices are probably similar to Munich, but as with all heavily touristed places, you should just avoid
Yeah.
the very city center, the obvious tourist traps.
Yeah. That's it.
Go where the locals
You go a
go,
few
I would
streets
say.
back, and you're right, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they brew good beer, Mark. So for
They
you and
do.
I,
They
we
do
should
brew good
definitely
beer, the
catch up.
chaps.
We should meet up in Prague, you and I, one day.
We should. We
Yes.
should. Yeah. No, I
So
like Czech beer. They make some really good beers
they do.
in Czech Republic. Like I like Pils Urquell, I think it's called, or Uquell,
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
they call it.
And they have
Star Roperman, I think, is
yes.
another one.
Yeah, exactly. And they have also various brews. They have like the light beer and they have the dark.
Yep.
During the
Kozel,
winter,
I think, is another one.
yes, yes,
Kozel?
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kozel's really good. I like the dark Kozel one,
yeah,
the dark wheat beer. Yeah,
yeah. It's
is
really
really
good.
good. So,
So
yes.
during the colder times of year and the winter, I tend to like darker beer more.
Yeah.
And in the summer, it's just lighter beer. So it's just yeah. And also speaking of colder times of year, it was sort of cold, but not too cold, and we had sunshine every day. On the day we arrived, it was raining, but not pouring down. It was just a light, drizzle,
Yeah.
and all the other days. We arrived on Sunday, but as of Monday morning until Friday evening when we left, it was just sunshine throughout. So that was really nice.
Actually,
Really nice.
it's been surprisingly cold here, actually, for November in Australia. There's been a few days this week where it was 12 degrees, which is a little bit unheard
Wow.
of
Wow.
at this time of the year. Like, as you can see, I've actually got a jumper on tonight.
Yeah.
Where normally middle of November, I'd probably have a t-shirt on. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know what's going on. But there's a few 30-degree days at the end of October, and then it's just all disappeared into really cold sort of pre-summer weather, actually, for Australia. But hey, that's life. It rained for like 4 days in a row last week, so
Oh,
so
well,
yeah, so
the
weather's
plants and
strange.
trees
But
are going to like that.
I'd prefer it to be colder than hotter anyway. So
Yeah.
it's
We're actually today it's going to be 20 degrees here in Munich, and then as of Sunday evening we're going to have a drop, and next week they
Yeah.
have snow in the forecast, the first snow.
Way, look
So-
out. What have we
and,
got coming up this week?
Frosty nights.
Well, it's meant to be 25 here tomorrow, but then it's back to 18 on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday. So
Wow, yeah.
so it's all over the place. 25, 18, 17, 19, rain, nearly every day. But no,
Yeah,
that's
well,
life.
so
Doesn't bother me. I don't do
the,
too much outside anyway. So
the first month of summer is December for you, right?
yes,
Yeah, so yeah.
but it's never normally hot. It's never normally hot in December anyway. It's generally always January, February, March, and even into April when it's sort of hottest, I would think here.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Same thing
so
here, really,
yeah,
because the first month of summer is June, and here in
yeah,
Europe, and you can never really not depend on weather. You say, if you want to have an outdoor wedding, for instance, in Europe,
yeah.
you always say, you bet on August. That's sort of
Well, speaking on that, I went to an outdoor wedding last weekend, and it was the coldest day in November for 100 years here in
yeah. There you
Victoria
go.
last Saturday when this outdoor wedding was on. So luckily it was at
I
a
saw the
winery, so
picture. I saw
luckily
the
they had an
pictures.
indoor space.
You were in a nice jacket and everything.
I was. I had I got a checkered, like a tartan sort of suit that I wheel out occasionally when I go out. So
Yeah.
so yeah. So but luckily this wedding, it was at a winery, so there was an indoor area where they ended up getting married. But I think they were gonna, I think the only probably disappointment for people is, they would have had nice photos down
Oh
in the
yeah.
vineyard field where the grapes were, but it was pouring down rain, so
Oh man. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wasn't happening for them. But still, was a good night, and yeah. So as it is, make out of it what you can. No use getting
Yeah. Exactly. That
overly
reminds me
disappointed about it.
when you say vineyards, they had. I didn't know that in Prague. There even around the castle uphill and stuff.
Yep.
There were wine fields. Yeah, I was surprised to see that, and I didn't really get much into it when I was there. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
explore a little bit more about Czech wine.
Check wine.
Apparently, they produce wine there. I didn't know.
You drink a lot of wine, do you?
No,
Or
not really.
you're a
No,
wine person?
no,
No.
because I tend to get drinking red wine. I tend to get a hangover from just one glass, and that's just and
Yeah, red wine has a way of sneaking up on you after
yeah,
a
yeah.
while.
So I do enjoy the taste, and when
Yeah.
for instance at Christmas when we have like um, a goose or duck or
Yep.
some poultry and heavy meat
Yep.
dishes. I do like a glass of red wine, but it's just not. I'm more into beer because I know my body and I don't get a
Yeah.
hangover unless I really go heavy
Yeah.
on it. But
Yeah.
and also I tend to get cramps at night from red wine. There's
Yeah.
the sulfites, they're not good to
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
system. Yeah, so. But white wine and sparkling wine is
Yeah.
okay, but we're not heavy
Okay.
on
Yeah.
wine here. No. How about you?
I've become less and less a beer person the older I've gotten, I think, and I really liked beer, and I do like beer, but I find it makes me really tired. Like, I'll have two of them and I'll be yawning my head off. Like,
Yeah.
it's like it wants to send me to bed. I'm not drunk, but it makes me tired for some
Yeah.
reason, beer. I really don't know why.
So what do you like
Yeah,
on a Friday night? What are you having a drink now? But what's sort of
yeah,
your
like I don't mind. I don't mind stuff straight, like not straight Scotch per se, but this was bourbon infused with honey, and I often
sort of sweet,
have
right?
Jack Daniels have one that's infused with apple, like, and
Oh
I
yeah,
don't mind
yeah,
sipping it just over a block of ice, like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so. But I'm partial to Scotch and Coke. I don't mind Scotch and Coke a lot, like,
Okay,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah,
or rum and dry ginger. Captain Morgan, which is a spiced rum with dry ginger, I don't mind. But in saying that, like, I still enjoy a beer when
yeah,
when I have one. I just don't reach for a beer first. But I do like wine. I do like red wine.
yeah.
But as you said, if I drank a bottle, I would feel like I'd feel like crap the next day. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. But I'm sort of probably more discerning with beer. Like, I really like beer when the weather's hot, but
Yeah,
when the weather's not so hot, like, it's sort of like, I would prefer Scotch or, wine or something like that. But like all things, depends where you're at too and what you're doing and who you're
yeah,
with. And, it's more a situational, drinking's more situational, I think, as you get older. Like, if you're with a heap
yeah,
of people that you'd probably just drink beer all the time because that's what's going around. And, it
yeah.
seems, so, yeah. It is what it is,
Exactly.
but I don't drink anywhere near as much as what I used to. So that's one thing.
My wife is into non-alcoholic beverages, so we always have like sparkling wine and
Yeah.
non-alcoholic. She kind of likes that, and you just we got some bitter syrups, some
Yeah.
bitter stuff that you can just
Yep.
put into it. So there's like these non-alcoholic, and it's becoming a thing here in Europe.
It's a big market, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see it in Australia a fair bit
Yeah.
as well, but in supermarkets and all sorts of stuff, like, big brands like Gordon's who make gin. There's, non-alcoholic gin and things like that in Australia. And,
I saw
and all this.
recently. I saw a non-alcoholic vodka. I don't understand that. Why don't you just put water on bottles? I mean, because vodka has no taste.
Well, I'll be honest, I don't understand the concept at all, especially people who drink non-alcoholic beer. Like, I'd just prefer to have a Diet Coke, literally.
Yeah. Unless you really like, there's here in Munich, there are a couple of non-alcoholic beers from smaller local breweries.
Yeah.
They're really good. And Augustina, they make the most popular non-alcoholic beer. It tastes like a proper beer, but it's with no alcohol, and that's really well done, well executed.
I guess if you like the taste of beer enough, then it probably I don't like the taste of beer enough to drink it when it's not got alcohol in it.
No. Yeah, I hear you. But it was funny. Also, even in Prague. I mean. Because Alex, my wife, it's probably 2.5 years now that she has not touched alcohol. It was sort of just a decision she made at one point. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. I don't want to. I don't like the effect on me. And then at first, just 2 years ago, probably, people would, non-alcoholic. No, we don't have that. When she would ask, at restaurants and bars and cafes. But now, 2 years later, really within the last 2 years, I would say, things have really evolved.
Changed
in terms of not.
Look, I can understand that. How you just go, well, like this wedding we went to the other weekend, like, there was alcohol provided, but at 9 o'clock I just went, no, I'm just going to get a coffee. Like, I'd had about four. We were drinking cider, so I was drinking strawberry and passion fruit cider or something. It was about 10% a bottle, so it was fairly.
Wow.
I wasn't feeling drunk or anything, but I was like, look, I've had enough. I'm going to go to work tomorrow morning. I'm just going to get a coffee. Whereas once upon a time I would have been like, no, let's just keep going. And I was like, no, I'll just go get a latte and and drink that. And Rebecca's like, you what? I'm just getting a coffee.
The older you get, it's also like, you sort of know yourself well enough to say, I want to get something out of my day tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
So I'll just quit while I'm having a good time and just say, this is it.
Yeah, well, I had to go to work at 7:30 in the morning, and I mean, it was only 9 o'clock at night. I mean, and I was going home at 10, so I would have still got, 8 or 9 hours sleep. But I was just like, nah, look, I was sort of at that stage where I wasn't drunk, I was just had a bit of buzz, and I was, at that stage where I needed to commit to the process to, to keep going and sort of get on it, or just go, okay, let's just shut the shop up because we're sort of not getting anywhere, if we're just going to keep having one drink every hour or something like that. So you may as well just have a coffee and be done with it.
Exactly.
And
that's where you make a proper decision.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So I was like, yep, I'm just stopping. And that's enough for tonight.
So one thing I noticed in Prague was, it's kind of a trend when you go to a city. There's you can see trending things, and what was trending in Prague just now was smash burgers. Do you know what that means? It's just like where the burger patty is really just smashed down to very thin, and then they put like 2 patties, and between the 2 patties, a lot of melted cheese.
Okay, yeah.
So that was really nice. We tried that, and it was really probably one of the best burgers I've had in years.
Fantastic.
I had in Prague. Yeah. So
that was the last day. Has a burger bun on it as well?
Yeah. Like everything is just like proper. Brioche bun are
I hate brioche.
Yeah. No, that's
I'm not a
because
fan
they're
of the brioche.
soft. They're soft and
Yeah.
sort of sweet in it. Yeah. So
Yeah. Too sweet for me. Just having a look to
yeah,
see where the smash burger is. I don't know, there's a few in Melbourne, so
yeah. Go try that.
smash burger, smash burger, smash burger. Okay, so there is a few smash burgers floating
Yeah,
around. Okay.
that's sort of trending at the moment. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we also went to a couple of traditional restaurants or cafe, more like cafeterias that you would
Yeah.
expect in a factory sort of or
Yep.
or or, or city hall or something like that. In the former Eastern Europe, it was really the
Yeah.
architecture, the style, the decor was way back in the 50s. They
Yep.
sort of maintained that look, which was kind of
I
fun.
love that sort of look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's good, isn't it?
The sort of um, colder lightning and yeah. And we had some traditional Czech open sandwich and stuff like that. That was interesting too, and it was at affordable pricing. It's where the locals still go and eat. They have these places where where you can just tell that this is a traditional place where people go and have their lunch
Yeah.
during work hours. They just have an hour of lunch and then they go
Yep.
someplace and they have like a weekly menu and they have a
Yeah.
daily dish at
Yeah.
affordable pricing, and so they just go there and have their daily lunch. So
Fantastic.
yeah, so they had these. There was a chain in Prague where we saw several places in Prague. The same interior decor and
Yeah.
same sort of menu and the same setup. Yeah, you can get a dish and something to drink for under €10. Yeah, so
Happy days.
yeah, really good. Yeah, so that was my or our Prague experience. I can recommend Prague at any time, but we
Yeah.
sort of agree here in the family that the fall or spring is probably a good time to go to a bigger city because
Yeah.
this was outside the major tourist season
Yeah.
before it gets too cold. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. That's kind of our.
I've been to Prague in the middle of winter when it's snowing, and it does get pretty cold there.
Did they have? I assume they would have like a proper Christmas market. Sort of what I would
Yeah, they have a
expect.
big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really big Christmas market in the middle, in the big square there for sure.
Yeah.
I went there at night time. We were there one night. We went there, and there was thousands of people everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I think it's one of the biggest ones in Europe, actually, when I read the other day. So,
and they are
'cause it's a
here in
big
Munich.
area.
Here in Munich today. This is a Friday, mid-November, and we are officially opening the winter market season today. So if you're into mulled wine and all this thing, that's as of today, and I think over the next couple of weeks, the traditional Christmas markets are opening again. So I remember meeting you guys, Mark,
Yes.
in the
Definitely.
residence Christmas market.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
a
that one.
really good one, actually. Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
opening today. That's opening on the first Advent weekend, which is in a couple of weeks from now. But yeah,
I was going to say they all used to open like start of December, but now Christmas markets seem to be such a popular thing. It's getting longer and longer, and
the longer you can extend
and longer.
yeah. It's business,
Isn't it?
right?
Like if there's a buck to be made, we'll make it.
Yeah. Of course, and the big at Stachus here in Munich with the big ice skating area.
At Karlsplatz.
At Karlsplatz, yeah, Stachus Karlsplatz. Yeah, that's where I met you guys the first time. Yeah.
You did. Yeah, there was an ice skating rink there that day too.
yeah, exactly. They're building it right now, so that's it's becoming ever more popular. Yeah,
Yes,
particularly for
most
overseas
definitely.
tourists. They the the entire year now is really a tourist season here in Munich. There's absolutely, 10, 15 years ago, you would sort of think, okay, the wintertime is more for the locals, but not anymore. It's just, ever more popular.
Well,
And one thing we're struggling with at the moment, we should mention this in a travel podcast. There's this eternal surfing wave that on the Eisbach here in Munich.
Yep.
Do you know what? That has stopped.
The wave stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Really?
Yeah. And they don't know why. They don't really know why. They did some maintenance someplace else around, on the river and on the flooding, the steam.
Wow.
And that maintenance, the cleaning, probably did something to the stream, and
to the flow, and
it's sort of stopped, and it's a big
That's
deal.
It's a big deal as a tourist.
It is. Next to the Oktoberfest, they sort of they're actually worried that this will do damage. So even the local politicians, they are now getting into the issue and saying we need to get that wave back because surfers are coming from all over the world and they cannot surf. So that's a thing. It's an issue. We seem to have lost Mark here. Well, anyways, we were about to go wrap up this episode of Southern Summers and Northern Winters. You've been listening to Mark Wilde and Anders Jensen here. And, we'll just be back in the next episode, hopefully with no interruptions. So thank you for listening in. And... see you in the next. Bye.